This is UMBC Careers Unleashed, where we unleash stories, insights, and expertise to support you on your career journey. Let's dive in.
Hey everybody, what's up? We are back with another episode of UMBC Careers Unleashed, and today we are expanding our concepts around how we can become a leading candidate, right? Like, there's so much pressure, internship, or even for our science majors, right? Like, research becomes a really big thing. But the way to build experience and to get exposure in one's career is not like one size fits all. So today we're going to talk about some alternative ways that you can build your experience portfolio, right? And this is for everybody. Let's just say that it's for everybody. But I want to definitely lean in on folks who maybe feel like that their options aren't as large as other folks. So like our first year or our second year students who maybe haven't hit those core classes or still undecided around like, well, what is it that I want to be when I grow up, right? Like I got to figure it out. Or it could be for our international student population, right? Who can't work off of campus the first semester while you're here. Or it could be for that person who try as they might, they've put in 10 applications for internships a week and just aren't getting that return on their investment. Like, what do I do now, right? Like if I were a 90s hip hop person, I would say, this is a story all about how my life got turned upside down, right? Like you really thought that you were going to land the internship and now it's May. And you haven't heard anything. Like, what do you do now? Or if I was a 2000s pop singer, I might say, this is a story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world. Like, I am here and I'm at a place where it's like, well, what do I do to become that person who can step into their dream position after they graduate? So we're going to talk today, right? We're going to take the limits off. We're going to unleash some things so that you can really build what your exposure and experience looks like. So we're going to move forward. I did a little, singing, rapping for the folks, but now we're going to push into some really serious information. And I might reach out to some folks to help me because I don't, know all the information. And definitely, listen, at the conclusion of this episode, this is one of those episodes where you definitely want to check the show notes, right? Because they're going to be a ton of resources. I'm going to reference them during the course of our time together while we're talking. But if you want to really lean into them and explore those resources, check the show notes. So don't say I didn't tell you. I'm going to breeze through this stuff. It's going to be a lot of information. I hope you hang around to the end because it's going to be a lot of great stuff that we're going to discuss. So getting into the things, right? For the person, all of us, we haven't landed that internship or, maybe we don't have time or maybe you did land an internship, but you want, to work with someone in particular. There's something called a micro internship. Have you ever heard of that? I'm going to tell you right now, before I started working at UMBC, and I never heard of a micro internship, but it is just what it sounds like. It is a smaller opportunity. So like a typical internship may last a semester, or it may last over the summer, right? A micro internship is a smaller opportunity where you get to plug in with maybe an alumni, or it could be a person that you have been admiring on LinkedIn, or it could be, a company that actually offers micro internship opportunities. And those things are shorter term. So it could be a week, could be a day, could be a month. And I discussed a few ways, right? Like you can definitely go onto LinkedIn and slide into the LinkedIn version of their DMs and say, hey, I really admire the things that you're doing and I'd love to shadow you. That's a way. But we also have at UMBC a platform that we use called Parker Dewey. Okay. And Parker Dewey it's a legitimate space where companies and organizations go and post micro internships. And I think you still have to apply for some of those, but the threshold, to get into those spaces, I would imagine is a little bit different than a whole summer long internship, because they're shorter termed, right? So you definitely want to, and I think that you have to access it through the UMBC platform, or maybe you can even Google Parker Dewey, right? But I know you can access Parker Dewey through the UMBC Career Centers platform, but we'll link it, in the show notes. But definitely peruse, right, this resource and plug into there and see if there are any opportunities listed that you'd like to get plugged into. Or you can be bold, you can go on Retrievers Connect and you can, shoot your shot at an alumni who you think is doing great things. So and your proverbial shot, right? Like that's our colloquialism, right? When you're, you know shooting your shot that way, you want to make sure that try to reach out to folks, and that might take a little boldness. Another thing, right? Some folks, work on campus, right? This is what we call growing where you're planted. You're already here, and there are some things that we like coveted positions, right? Becoming an RA, or what are those things called? I think they're called woolies, that's the like popping job, becoming a wooly, or maybe becoming a department support. But you could do great things if you worked at the front desk in the library, right? You can build professional skills if you work at Starbucks, right? And I want to encourage you, because a lot of times we dismiss, let's just say, for example, that you are a mechanical engineer major or a chemical engineering major, and you work at Starbucks, right? Like, how does that work? Well, I don't know. Maybe if you're a chemical engineer and doing all little barista mixology stuff, that might be chemical engineering. I don't know. But it doesn't seem like it's linear. But the whole while you are there, you're learning how to communicate. You're building, discipline around showing up on time and being a great, team member. So you can grow right where you're planted, and you could put those things also on your resume. But there are some other things that you can do while you're on campus too, that you may not think about, right? A lot of the opportunities that are on campus, people want to, go to Handshake and find them. But there are a lot of positions that we may even call them like hidden. And you may have to go and visit the department or talk to a professor to even learn about them, right? So there may be an opportunity for you to support a specific department or a specific professor, but you've got to put in the legwork. There are also research opportunities on campus, right? And there is a undergraduate research. UMBC has an undergraduate research website, and we'll definitely try to put that in the show notes for you. But you can find out about these opportunities, months in advance, or if there's a class, right? And this is really pushing into your ability to really advocate for yourself. But if there's a class that when you go in there you light up, or you feel like that what I'm learning right in this class is like the cornerstone of my professional future, say something to that professor. Or if they have a graduate assistant or someone who's supported, say something to them, right? Because they may be able to illuminate for you an opportunity for you to plug into that work, whether it be supporting them, or if there's something else that's going on campus or across the city, right? Like, you may not ever know about those things if you don't, after class, put one foot in front of the other and walk up there and say, hey, I am really enjoying what I'm learning in this class. And I'm wondering, is there a way for me to build on these skills outside of my textbook, right? So research opportunities. And that goes for even more than just research opportunities, but like internships as well, too. Um, or, you know, department support. Let's say you are, I don't know, a visual arts major, and you're always over in your building anyway. You may go up to the visual arts department, right, and ask them, are they hiring any support, or do they need any support over the summer or the following semester or the next year, right? You may not have seen anything on Handshake, but you definitely can go up to them to ask if they have any positions available, and if so, where and how can I get it plugged into them, right? So that's really like maximizing the time while you're here. If you live on campus, or if you're going to be taking classes during the course of the day or the evening anyway, right? Figure out how you can get plugged in right where you are. There's also a undergraduate research award, and I think you can get information around that on the undergraduate research website. But I know you can Google UMBC URAs, and really that is funding, right? They provide up to $1,500 to UMBC students for research. So there's also ways for you to get funding to do the things, right, that you really want to do the research and explore the research that you really want to find. So check that out. Now, this is one of my favorites. And I'm going to be honest with you, it is one of my favorites because it has no limits. And that is like boosting your credentials by taking like a short course, whether that be in LinkedIn Learning or Coursera, or, another method. Like there may be, if you work for UMBC in any capacity, or if you have any other jobs, sometimes they have these, like here at UMBC, we have something that's called Skillsoft. And it is a HR funded place for the folks who work here to build on their professional skills, right? And so these are things that you can add into your toolkit as you go along. And you get these little, if you choose to print them out, these cute little certificates. But they are really opportunities for you to decide and to curate, like, you know what? Even as a student, like my time management is just not hitting it. And it's the end of the semester and I'm forgetting tons and tons of things, right? I need to beef up my time management skills. Over the summer, you can just hop into Coursera or LinkedIn Learning and take a 6-hour course on time management or calendaring, right? Like, how do you make these things work for you? It could be something that is more technical, though, right? Like folks who are in the tech area, this new thing with Tableau, or how to do some data science, new things with AI, or whatever the case may be. I am not a computer science, data science, anything. I don't know all the things that y'all have going on, but I know that there are ways to build your skills around those things if you hop into those spaces, LinkedIn Learning and Coursera. And it can be at your own pace. Typically that's how it works, right? You're like, okay, the whole certificate or credential could potentially be 12 hours, but you say, okay, well, I'll do 2 hours on Monday and 1 hour on Wednesday, and then maybe I'll wait until next week. And you just consistently go through until you complete those 12 hours, and then you get a credential. And you can definitely add something like that to your resume, right? And let me just say, the reason why I love this and I'm spending so much time here is because I don't know how many resumes. I can't even tell you. Okay. And I love it when I see a person's resume, when they have their skills section and then they have like their certificates or, like micro credentials or whatever the case may be. And it's just this long list. And for me, I light up because I know that means that, one, they're committed to their professional development or career development. And two, there are tons of keywords in there. When you start applying for jobs right now, you're not just having people who are analyzing your resume, but you're also having AI screen your resume. ATS is screening your resume. And if you have all of these keywords in there, Tableau and AI and machine learning, or it could be, I don't know, some other mechanical engineering keywords that I don't know anything about, or it could be, if you're a video, like a digital media person, there could be some how to work a certain kind of camera or whatever. But all of these courses, one, they help you to hit your keywords. Two, they help you to build on experience that you can actually put on your resume to say that you've been exposed to, And so I'm really excited about this. I hope that this kind of takes the limit off for somebody. I don't know. I mean, if you were here, I would say, what do you think about that? Right? Like, have you thought about taking extra courses, a couple of courses using LinkedIn Learning or Coursera? Like, think about that. And if not, you can add that to the list of things that you need to do. Now, we talked a little bit about, external places where you can build and curate your experience with little smaller certificates, right? We talked about LinkedIn Learning, we talked about Coursera, but UMBC has micro badges, right? And you can look them up, badges at the at symbol UMBC. And this is a place where you can build micro credentials and get digital badges. We are actually starting in January of 2025 partnering with Google and Coursera, right, to offer a plethora of micro credentials to our students. And I can't really list them all. I mean, I can give you the ones that I'm aware of, but I would just say, listen, hop into those show notes, right? The sky is getting ready to open up for us. We want our students to be as skilled as possible. So this is just something to be aware about that's not necessarily external, but this is something that UMBC is paying for, right? And I didn't really say that before, but sometimes there are free opportunities for credentials on LinkedIn Learning and Coursera, but some of those more technical or more extensive ones, they do have a cost to them. And so to be able to access something through UMBC that UMBC is paying for, like, come on. Like I don't know, I'm not Italian, but what they say, forget about it. Like, forget about it. You got to access the things that, have already been laid out and paid for you. So badges at UMBC, you can, of course, Google that, look that up, badges at UMBC, but these are smaller micro credentials and digital badges, and we're expanding them. So Google and Coursera are partnering with us, and you want to take advantage of that, like, for sure. Here's another one. And I know we talked a little bit about growing where you were planted in getting on-campus employment. But you can also grow where you're planted in terms of, like, your coursework. There are some things that you're just going to have to do in order to graduate. Right? You have to have presentations and research projects, and you're going to have to collaborate with your classroom, the good old group project, right? And we hope that you have all wonderful group project members. But you always got that one that doesn't return emails, and the dog ate their homework and everything else, right? But one of the things you can do is serve in a leadership capacity, right? In the things that are already a part of your, regularly scheduled program. So, like, say, for example, and I can't think back to like when I was in undergrad, but let's just say we were doing a group project. I can take the lead role and serve as the quote unquote project manager, right? And that's something that I can add to my resume. Leadership, project management, right? And all project management is looking at the assignment, checking out the rubric and determining, okay, if the final due date is 1 month from now, what are the things that we need to deliver on, and when do those things need to be, completed? And then helping and supporting your teammates make sure that they meet those milestones. So it's like, okay, well, we need to research, and then we need to compile the research, and then we need to analyze, and then we need to have a rough draft, and then we need to review the rough draft, and then we need to create a final draft. Like, I'm just making up, a fictitious storyline. But being the person who looks at it from that aerial view and then helps to shepherd your classmates along, that's invaluable, right? So definitely taking those leadership roles in your courses, but also like extracurricular activities. Let's say you are a part of, I don't know, the K-pop dance crew. I'm not sure, wherever. If you're the secretary, or if you're not the secretary, maybe next semester or next year, you aspire to be the secretary or the fun club committee chair. I don't know, right? But these are all things that one, helps you to build skills, right? Because if you're a leader in the space, you need to be consistently showing up. You have to be there if you're the secretary to record the notes. You need to be aware of, you get to recall the notes, right? That's like public speaking. Or if you're the fun club committee chair, that's event planning, that's logistics, right? So these are all things that you can not only, yes, write on your physical resume, right? We definitely want to document it, but it is building those muscles, right? It is building your strengths around things that maybe you didn't even consider. So if you are wanting to go into if you're a business technology administration major and you're the events chair, being able to do those logistical parts, that's also project management, right? That's program management. And these are all words that maybe you've heard floating around, but I promise you, when you start looking at internships and definitely job announcements, when you're starting to apply for those jobs, program management, project management, logistics, all of these things, collaboration, leadership, communication, these are all I don't think I've ever seen a job announcement that doesn't have those words in them. Okay. So this helps you to be able to really say with confidence that you have experience doing those things. And then when you're sitting in that interview, they say, well, tell me about a time where you had to lead a project and maybe things didn't go according to plan. Now you can reference back and say, well, actually, when I was the fun club committee chair for the K-pop dance crew, or wherever your team, whatever your club is, you have something to even lean on. And you can say, we thought that we reserved the small room in the rack, and the day that we showed up, or the night we showed up to set up our tables, the career center had tablecloths in there. And now we had to scramble, or whatever the case may be, right? And so now you're like, oh, we had to talk to this person, that person. And so we then had to, reserve a room, or or the career center offered us to use their conference room because we got double booked. And so it was a smaller space, but we made it work, right? So now you have an actual story to reference back to. So you're using things that you already are a part of, whether it be your classroom and those assignments, or your on campus stuff. So that one right there, that was like free. I don't even not like that was like worth the price of admission if there was one. Now, some people, and I know that there are some majors, and I know that there are some folks who maybe not majors, I'll say industries, right? All industries require that you have those, what we call soft skills, right? Your ability to communicate and collaborate. But then there are some jobs where you need to have some hard skills, some technical skills. And it's like, okay, if I am a graphic design major and I haven't been able to secure the internship or All of the hot opportunities are in New York, and I'm an only child, and I'm scared to live or spend, be 4 hours away from my family over the summer, or whatever your narrative is, right? Like everybody has their own thing. Or you could be an animation major and all of the stuff is like in California, or you could be, into aerospace engineering and you don't want to go to Houston, Texas for an internship over the summer. Like, how do I build these hard skills if I can't get a virtual internship, right? Like, there are some ways and places where you can build hard skills. So, for web development, right? There are places where you can go, platforms called Upwork and Fiverr. And I'm sure a lot of y'all know about Fiverr. Like, Fiverr is, they do everything. That's even graphic design, and that's so many things, right? That's a space where you can go as like a freelance person, and you can, charge $5 for your work, right? To say, okay, I'm going to build my graphic designing portfolio, and maybe I'll, while I'm practicing on people, because I don't really, not so great yet, I'll just charge them $5. And now you're building your skill set, and you're learning how to communicate with customers, and you're making money. And then don't get good. Don't get good, because then once you get good, you can like name a price that's bigger than $5. So these are like little things that you can do. Or if you want to work on your writing or your communication skills, right? There's platforms called Medium and Contently, right? And we'll put all of these in the show notes. You have to go and click on these things and play around with it to figure out how it's going to work for you, right? Or even people like technical, like data analysis. We have there's platforms called Kaggle and Freelancer, right? And you can go into these spaces and you can actually build on your technical skills independently, and you can do freelance projects, you can engage with other people, you can learn from other people's work. So these are opportunities, right? And you may have to do a little bit of grunt work with it. It may not be perfectly, cookie cutter opportunity. You might have to be what we call, what is it, gritty, right? Like, we have to be a gritter, but these are ways that you can really sharpen your skill. And I don't know, I'm thinking it's this analogy where they say that if you have 1 hour to chop down a tree, right? They say, like, spend 45 minutes sharpening your axe, right? Like, instead of chopping and hacking and hacking and hacking away beforehand, you want to sharpen that axe so that you can be more accurate. So this, while you're at UMBC, this is the time to sharpen that axe. It's the time to say, okay, well, let me see how I can make this work for me. What conversation can I have? What professor can I talk to? What student leaders who are on campus? Can I run for that student government position? Can I be the project manager or whatever, in this space? Like, these are all the times where you want to, kind of bang around and sharpen yourself and sharpen those skills. Um, I was just reading something, and you have to forgive me because my brain, okay, is getting old. But I was just reading something recently, and it came through. It was even, I think it was published in like some UMBC like publication space, where we were talking about the national average for undergraduate students, or even at all levels actually, but I'll specifically undergraduate students, right? It's the national average that 85% success rate, students get plugged into either a career or an advanced degree post their graduation from like their undergraduate experience, right? To after they get their undergraduate degree. But UMBC students are exceeding the national average, and by far, right? 90 with a 93% success rate, UMBC students are getting plugged in either to a career or a job or an advanced degree post their undergraduate experience. Now, while that is a wonderful pat on the back and testament to how driven you all are, I know I know that the climate around being successful and making sure that you make every moment count while you're here, that is a heavy weight to carry, right? It's like being the like being Barack Obama or Albert Einstein or somebody's little sister or brother, right? Like being their sibling. Like coming, who wants to come behind a 93% success rate? Like, while it is motivational and it can pull you forward, right? It can pull you forward. It is also a weight to carry. And so this, what we're talking about right now, is like an opportunity for you to be able to take some things into your own hands. You may look at all these internships and say, you know what, I haven't really found one that fits me perfectly. Or you're not even sure, if you get plugged into this internship opportunity, is it going to yield for you the outcome that you want? Or it could be, try as you might, you just didn't get it, or you're not as far along in your degree progression to where you can apply for it, right? It may not be first year friendly. So these are ways that you can actually like take the reins and be able to kind of build, not kind of, actually build the skill sets that you are interested in building. And then you can learn in the process. Like, did I really like that? Do I really, and listen, I'm going to put in a plug. And I don't know if you've watched other episodes, but we have a resident Gen Z digital media extraordinaire, computer science major, technology aficionado in the space. And just off camera a little while ago, we were talking about like the challenges and the technical pieces of like getting a degree and all of the things that you have to go through. Like, what if you took a class that was super hard over the summer and you were like, wait a minute, this is hard across, I don't know, a whole semester, but now I have to do this, whatever, organic chemistry or whatever your class is, calculus 2, in 4 weeks or however long the summer semesters are, and you had to rethink that thing, And so now you're at a place where you're considering, and maybe you do decide to say, you know what, I'm going to pause this and I'm going to retake it on another semester. Or it may be that this is your second or third attempt at a class. And you're like, I don't even know if this major is for me. I never want you to feel alone. Like, I'm just telling you as an insider, I see students all the time who start out as one major and then they get in there, and for one reason or another, right, they thought that when they were in high school that chemistry was just the bee's knees. And now that they're doing UMBC chemistry, they are like, and what are these? Are they molecules? I don't know. So I just want you to be encouraged, right? Like that there are ways that you can, even if you stay a computer science major, but you love graphic designing, that you can remain and be that computer science major and build your skills in a creative way on Fiverr, right? Like, there are all these multi-layers to this. I don't want you to feel helter-skelter. I want you to come in and listen to me. This is what I want you to hear if you don't take anything from this, is that there is always a way for you to build the skill and to get the exposure to things that you want to. It just might require that you talk to somebody or that you do a little digging and research. And listen, you may never come to the Career Center. That might not be your thing, but you've got professors, you've got academic advisors. You can call the Career Center and not come here. You can email the Career Center at careers@umbc.edu. You can type in the comments, right? Like, we are here for you. So I know I talked a lot because that's what I do. But check the show notes, right? Check the show notes. And I hope that this really unleashed your mind around the pathways to building experience while you're here at UMBC. So thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye. I feel like I was talking so much, and I was like sister girl, and I was sister girl, and